Chippo, is he any chance?
He's a chance. We're looking forward to seeing how he goes today, and obviously the decision on whether he flies this afternoon will be based upon how he goes in the next hour or so. So we're not quite sure yet, and so he'll have to go through a procedure at training to see if he's okay or not.
Can you make that decision today, or will you have to wait till tomorrow to see how he pulls up, or is it?
Look, obviously a Thursday game makes the importance of him being right today a little bit more urgent, and being on the plane this afternoon. But we'll have some sort of indication today, and he'll only come if we genuinely think he's going to play.
You've had sort of slow starts to the season before. I know that year you went on that amazing winning streak. It wasn't the best start. Is it just a glitch? What can you put it down to?
Oh, we can put it down to we're just not quite playing well in a lot of different areas, and that adds up to losing games. It is a lot of little things that add up to one big thing, which is not a consistent performance. We've been in front in the last two games in the last quarter and haven't been able to get over the line, and we haven't been consistent really in any part of our game over the 4 quarters. We've been here or thereabouts in patches, but like the quarter on the weekend, our first quarter, we were way off. We started playing better after that, but still not quite to the level that we need to. And it just highlights how even the competition is. If you're not absolutely on your game every week, or for the majority of the game, you end up losing, and that's where we find ourselves.
There's not panic stations yet, though.
Oh no, we clearly know we need to play better, and you know, that's our immediate aim is to play better than what we've been playing. We know that, but you know, we've got the confidence that we can do that, but we need to get going clearly.
Does that keep you optimistic though, that it feels like you're not that far off? There's a few things that you just need to fix?
Well, yeah, there is, but that's often the challenge, is to fix those small things across your game that you need to get right, whether it's our structural performance and consistency of that, or it's our general hardness, or being stripped of the ball, or our ball use. The whole thing across the board adds up to an inconsistent performance, and you know, getting those areas right is our challenge, and that's what we're going to try and do.
For road trips, where does it sit? A 6-day break over to Perth, who West Coast is so good over there at Domain? Yeah, we understand that. I mean, you know, that is a challenge for anyone going over there, but it's also they're coming off a 5-day break, and so you know, in the end, we've got an extra day, and they're coming back from the East Coast, and they've done it a number of times. They obviously know what they're doing in regards to their travel. We've been confident in our travel before over to Perth, and we've got the opportunity to be able to train today, which is a good opportunity to have for our players to be able to keep working on the areas we need to work on.
Is top 4 still a chance, do you think, or given that break before the finals these days, is it not as important as?
Oh, not as important as this Thursday, and that's all we can focus on. I mean, you know, we can understand outside discussions about where we sit and our opportunities at the end of the year, but internally it's very much about one foot in front of the other, and getting that right, and getting our training sessions right, and getting our preparation right, and getting our games right at this time of the year, because that tends to look after itself. The results at the end of the year, as long as you get your preparation and your performance right from week to week.
Have you been happy with how the young guys are going? Dawson came in last week. Have you got any more? Looking at more this week? Or?
Yeah, we've had a few come in, and we've been happy with them all. They've all shown bits and pieces of competitive, good senior football, which has been fantastic. And you know, whilst we've exposed a lot of young players over the first 3 weeks of the season, we still feel as though we've got enough senior players in our team to be able to get it right and be competitive. And our younger players have actually been some of our better performers over those few weeks.
Is it those leaders that you think need to lift, especially over the next probably fortnight?
Oh, it's just not just the leaders, it's our senior players that have played a bit of football, and making sure that we're consistent across the board. We've got enough senior players in our team to be able to do that, and making sure that we play better for longer, and the young blokes seem to be showing the way in that area.
Is the tight turnaround a help or a hindrance?
Oh, I think it's fine, particularly when you look at what West Coast are faced with. They're faced with a day less anyway, so it shouldn't really come into the situation as far as playing. It might just come into the discussions in regards to Tippett, whether he's able to get up on a Thursday competitor or Saturday, which we're not sure just yet. I'm sure they'll be in the same boat with a couple of their players as well.
We've seen Isaac Heaney out there for a few weeks. Have you got a set timeline that you think he could be back?
He's training today, which is good to see. So Rowan and Papley trained last week and train this week. Heaney and McVeigh will join that group this week as far as training's going. So those blokes will be training this week, which is really important for their preparation, and see how they go for next week. We're not quite sure what the stage is with them until they pull up from training, and see how they pull up from training. But at this stage, they're training this week, which leaves them in a pretty good standing for next week.
What about AJ? Are you daring to put a date on his return yet?
No, not yet. Not probably, to be fair on him, he's training and doing quite well. He's not doing all the training at the moment, but he's doing parts of training and looking quite well. But we're far from putting a date on his return just yet, and it's probably not fair on him. We just want to see him do a little bit more, a little bit longer than what he's been doing. But he's going quite well at the moment.
It's pretty amazing focus he's got to just keep coming back every day and keep.
He's incredible, the way he just keeps on bouncing into training. I mean, his last game was 2012 of senior AFL football. So to keep on bouncing in and being as positive as what he is and still looking pretty good is a real credit to him.
With the NEAFL bye this week, what will the reserves do? Have you got training for them?
Yeah, we'll train on the weekend. We'll have a really solid hit-out training session on the weekend in preparation for some of those guys that I mentioned to come back into calculations for next week. So it's an important training week for those guys, and we've got the plans in place to make sure they get a really good workout regardless of them not playing this weekend.
Do you get any more experience this week? I know last week obviously you dropped the likes of Cunningham and Laidler, who a fair bit of experience there. Is it a case of picking on form or picking youngsters looking for the long term as well? Or?
Oh no, we're very much looking at the players that are playing well at the moment, and a lot of those young players have been playing well, so they earn their spots in the team. We're not just in the habit of just giving their games out to the young kids just for the sake of getting the numbers up. They've been playing pretty well, and they deserve their spots, and good on them. They'll be, if they're playing well, they'll be picked regardless of age.
Are you surprised at how quickly they've all adjusted? I know you had a fair bit of confidence in them, having seen them for a while. But...
Oh yeah, we did have a fair bit of confidence. We saw the way that they were training, and we still think there's a couple more that can come in and add to the group as well. We were pretty confident in the blokes that have been able to perform so far, whether it's Florent, Hayward. We saw those guys in the pre-season, Fox, Newman. Those guys have been showing some pretty good form, so we were confident they could play senior football and be up to the standard, and so far they've done that.
How are they travelling physically? Is it any time for a rest for, especially I guess Florent and Hayward, the younger guys?
We manage them during the week pretty well, and they get their rest obviously during training sessions. We're not training them fully like the rest of the group, but if you saw the way they run around the weekend, particularly in the last quarter, and they kicked a couple of important goals, both those young boys, and Hayward looked up and about. He looked nice and lively, giving plenty of energy. So that's, whilst they're in that frame of mind, the signs are pretty good as far as how they're handling the level of body contact and senior football.
You've blooded, 12 players now in just over a season. Could you ever imagine having a regeneration as extensive as that?
No, but I didn't imagine probably blooding 7 last year either, and we were still really competitive. So, look, it's been a turnaround in the list, but we've still got some quality senior players there that have been around a fair while that that can contribute to us being really competitive every week. We're really excited about our younger group coming in. We've been winning positions in the last quarter, the last 2 weeks, and haven't got there, but we're really excited by what they can bring to the footy club. They've been great.